bumpy, just disconcerting a little bit. You know all that. I think I like about Primerica, it's boring, but I like a boring life versus one that you wake up every day and you're not sure what the world's going to give you tomorrow from a income standpoint. So, you know what? I've really had some strong revelations lately regarding. Let's come on up here. Yeah. It's really funny how you pay for top end seats when you go to a ball game, and then it comes Primerica. No one wants to sit up front, and I understand.
Come up near the fire.
You what?
They come up near the fire. That's why we say in church when people sit in the back. They come up near the fire.
You know, one of the things that we have to understand, I was telling Darryl that I went to, one of my guys is a pastor, and went to his church, Keenan, to do an op meeting. And it went fine, a little old, you know, older people. You know, why do we keep thinking people in their 50s can do it? You know, they can, but who starts businesses? Not people in their 50s, people in their 20s. And but we keep insisting that, you know, John here can make it. And anyway, I went in there and I was saying that everything that you see is a business, is designed and created to solve a problem. So business exists to solve problems that people have. And if you really get to the extreme, if you receive a paycheck from somebody, it's because they're paying you to solve their problem that they have. Like in my office, I have Yvonne. I pay her to solve my problems. If there's no problems, there's no job. So everything, you get paid in life to solve people's problems. You know, my sister was a hairdresser, beautician, and she had her own business. And her name was Anna Mae, and it was Anna Mae's hairdressing salon, and underneath it was we solve hairy problems. As corny as that is, why do people go to a hairdresser? Because they have hair problems, nails, you know, these nail salons, nail problems, dermatologists, skin problems, eye doctor, eye problems. Anybody here been to an eye doctor lately? You haven't had an eye problem. Have an eye problem, you have to go to a doctor. So you'd be hard pressed to tell me a business that exists, but hey, Darman, there you are. Hey, Zenaida. That isn't there to solve a problem that people are having. So understand that. So we're going to morph this into, we're not really in financial services, we're in financial solutions. So if you think of yourself as, I don't go in there and offer our services to people, I offer to solve their financial problems. And anyway, I was talking to Keenan's group, and I said, as an example, why does this church exist? Well, you've got a problem, the people that go to church. We all do. What's the problem? Eternal damnation. And that needs to be solved. And I was at the game last night. Red Wings fans wouldn't understand what playoffs are.
We got beat.
Yeah, we did. What a game. It was a good game. My son's really into it. It's really fun. He knows the players. He knows. And so it's really fun to go with him, and he is the instructor and telling me all about it. And I know enough about hockey. I've been a fan for Andrew. And so they had a music going on. It was, let's raise a little bit of hell. And I heard a song not till Highway to Hell. And from hell or high water. To hell with you. To hell and back. Hell has become kind of a watered down word. Because nobody in this room is afraid of hell. Nobody. Because, you're not even know. But I think you're afraid of eternal damnation.
Sure.
See the difference there? And so, when we think about solving people's problems, we tend to water it down, Larry, in that, yeah, people have problems, but they're not dire problems. And like hell is not dire. Eternal damnation is. So when we sit and understand, you can hear me do my op meeting tonight, and how we exist to solve people's problems. That's why the word, hello, services doesn't do justice to the value we bring. Now, all people who make a lot of money because they bring value to people that the people need to have in their life. There's the old adage, find it, eat, and fill it. I think that's watered down. I think we've got to find a dire problem and solve that problem for people before it gets out of hand. And so you're going to hear me talk tonight about the 4 problems that people have that we solve. If I had a wish list, we changed the name from Primerica Financial Services to Primerica Financial Solutions, because that explains what we do. Services here is, I got all these services, you want any? I got this service and that service and that service and that service. Have any need for services today? No? Well, okay then. You see, I don't feel we put the proper emphasis on they have dire, life-altering problems that if they don't solve it, they're going to be in big trouble. But see, we don't see that. As people drive by here, do they have financial problems? Here's you. I know you're not doing this, but yeah. You see the difference there? We don't put the emphasis on it, and we know they have problems, but it's not dire. They got problems, like you heard me when somebody writes the first life app on their own, I call them up and I say, congratulations, Dan, you wrote your life app, and when do you think you're going to pay off that death claim? Anybody ever write a life app? When do you think you'll pay that death claim? You never know. See the casualness? I don't know. One of these days down the road. You see? It's got to be probably tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe tonight. That's why you write it. If not, why don't you wait until you think it's dire, then run over there and say, listen, I think it's imminent. You got to properly protect yourself.
Yeah.
They don't do it anymore. But used to be in the airports, they would have flight insurance boxes. Where you could buy flight insurance. I don't know how much they ever bought any. Why? Well, guess what, people? Why would they buy insurance just before they got on a flight? Because now it's more imminent than down the road. So we suffer from problem austerity. We're kind of, that's a problem, but it's really more of a situation. Primerica Financial Situations. So we don't take it seriously that they have deep financial problems, and if they don't solve that problem with us, it's going to come back and hurt them terribly. As an example, anybody ever know someone that died without any life insurance? Oh my gosh, that poor widow. It's dire now, isn't it? Well, what do you think it was going to be?
Right.
You think it was going to be all honey and oats, right? Just kind of pretty and nice, and yeah, she's got some problems, but well, people die. That life goes on.
Yeah.
Well, then she's got bills to pay. She's got kids to raise. She's got a mortgage. And so we are the problem. Because we don't think they have a problem. Like when I told Carol years and years ago, we were talking about our debt situation before Primerica. And she said, doesn't it bother you that we have so much debt? I said, not really. She said, I'm bothered that you're not bothered. See, I'm bothered that you're not bothered by all the problems that people are having, and you are the only one that can solve that problem. Again, before some of you came in, I started by saying that all businesses exist to fix a problem. If you see a business and it's viable, the only reason it exists is someone's got a problem that needs to be solved. So if a person wants to make more money, guess what they have to do? Find ways to be of more value to people. That's how you make your money. You are rich, keep getting richer. Well, yeah, because they go out there and fix people's problems. If you want to make more money and you're unhappy with your salary, then go find some other place to go and solve bigger problems. But I'm not going to pay you $100,000 to fix my hunger problem at noon today. I'm going to pay you what, $12, $15 an hour. So we have to get serious and know the business that we're in. Again, if there is a business that exists, it exists to solve somebody's problem. If you want to make money, you must specialize in solving people's problems. Again, most people don't realize, how do you make money? Well, you work someplace and they pay you a salary and they never pay you enough. They complain because they're not making enough money. Go find someone to serve. They call it serving people. Go out and serve people. Again, sir, what's your name?
Troy.
Troy. Do you like serving people?
Yeah.
See, serving is kind of like hell. It's, I like to serve people. Don't you like to serve people? I mean, you like to serve people, right? Mm-hmm. You see how watered down it is? You like helping people? You like helping, don't you? Don't you? Like helping people, right? See how there's nothing to it. It's nothing to grasp on. I love helping people, but then they don't do anything tonight. You know why? Because it's not dire. See, there's a big difference. You know, the word serve means making somebody's life better. Now, what's the problem even with that statement? We don't think it's all that bad. So, no, he's doing pretty good. He's doing all right. We don't consider it all that bad. So, once you understand the depth of the value you can bring for people, you value yourself more, you value what we do more, you value our system more, and then you start saying, yeah, I should make $250,000 a year because of the value that I bring. See, most people down in their minds, though, I'm not worth $250,000 a year. I honestly believe this. We are so undervalued and so underpaid for what we do. The value that we bring to people, and let me use an example. Our hierarchy pays 2 death claims a day. So 2 widows today are going to get a check from us. They never would have gotten that check if we hadn't gotten over there and said, you got a problem that needs to be fixed now. Sense of urgency, right? Now, our company last year paid $1 billion in life insurance death claims. If we hadn't gone out there and fixed those folks' problems, they would have only gotten about $150 million of life insurance instead of $1 billion. Because they're uninsured, underinsured, underprotected, right? Now, when was the last time you saw a write-up? Look at the value these people brought. These poor widows got, 6 to 7 times more than they would have had. But we recognize there's a problem, and I got to tell you, you got to solve that problem and fix that problem. Our hierarchy's got over $3 billion in assets under management. People are retiring today with hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions more than they would have had if we hadn't talked to them 20, 30 years ago. But we solved that problem before they even recognized there was a problem. Carol, we went saw our my daughter and husband and her kids in D.C. about a week ago. And we got a 17-month-old grandson who is a germ factory. You know what a germ factory is? It's a child that goes to daycare and is building his immune system. It's a petri dish. So Monday morning, woke up, I went to kiss Carol while you're in D.C. We're leaving that morning. She said, don't. I got something going on. She literally was in bed for 3 or 4 days. It hit her, tired, sleeping all the time. I mean, we came that close for putting her in the nursing home. I'm just... Tonight, we don't fool with it in our family. One little cough, one more, you're in. I got it on speed dial. Well, guess when she was coming down sick? Monday morning? Oh, no. It was already in there, starting to do its dirty work, and she didn't even know it. Yeah. Do you ever have a problem with your car? Like, wow, the brakes don't work. Oh, no, they've been going bad. They just finally manifested. Yeah. See, you never know when the problem starts. So when we talk to them, they're in great shape. That's how we can offer them life insurance. If they weren't in great shape, we can't offer them any life insurance. You know, one of our guys, Keenan, talked to a couple. He sensed they had a problem. Now, what was obvious that they had a problem? How did he know they had an insurance problem? They were married with children. Yeah, that's great. And the math says every couple in America who has children is at least $240,000 underinsured. Everybody. So in your cell phone, Troy, you got 100 people, they're all $250,000 underinsured. Underinsured. They don't have enough. And if they are a millennial, they're $400,000 underinsured. I've never met anyone that's properly protected. Ever. You could literally stop people in the street and do this once a day and say, excuse me, we're in a financial solutions business, and we know that everybody is grossly underinsured. Can I give you a quote on $100,000 of life insurance? Just give you a quote. Just whether or not you do a thing, and do that 30 times a month, how many life apps do you think you would write? 12 to 15. Yet, how many people in the room write 12 to 15 apps a month? Nobody. Why? Not that we can't. We don't think there's a problem. If you don't think there's a problem, how in the world do they think there's a problem? It'd be nice if people called you up and said, hey, Fred, I decided I need some life insurance. They discovered the need. But how many people in this room have ever been called by someone that they needed life insurance? Never. Or investments. So we have to understand that to succeed here, you have to put value on yourself in what we do and their dire problem that needs fixed. In Texas, we got this word called fixing. I'm fixing to do this and I'm fixing to do that, right? It's literally, it's what we say. I'm fixing to go down and see I'm fixing to do this, right? They are fixing to be in trouble if we don't get talked to them. So everybody in your cell phone, when we recruit somebody, why? They've got 4 problems. Every living human being got 4 problems that we can solve, and nobody else can solve them.
That's good.
And you think he's happy where he's at. Because I always liked it. I mean, are you happy with the car you're driving? Yeah. You see what I mean? Yeah. See, the point is, we think if they're happy, that's the answer. They're happy, so there's no problem if they're happy. Doing fine. We're doing okay. Like I tell people, when you sit down with somebody and they say, no, I'm happy where I am, do they now understand the rule of 72?
No.
Instantaneously, they have a FIN number.
No.
Instantaneously, they have an insurance number they need to hit. Instantaneously, they go, oh my gosh, I need 100 people like me making an income from. No. See, we think that if they're happy, that is an answer instead of a put-off.
Wow.
It's a cliche. We live our life by cliches, by the way. Any ball player, one game at a time, one day at a time. I mean, you listen to any athlete interviewed. Did you ever see the movie Bull Durham?
Yeah.
When Kevin Costner was telling them the cliches to use? See, that's what athletes do. They give us cliches because they don't want to have to think. I'm happy, we're doing good. Yeah, I like it's fine. Yeah, good, yeah. Like the guy that jumps from a 40-story building, gets a 30th floor, the guy is like, how's it going? He said, so far so good.
Oh.
He has no problems, does he? No. The problem is coming, isn't it? You have to see every human being as having a problem. They all have 4 problems, and only you in our system, which is you're the advocate of, can fix. So we are fixers. See, we take ourselves out of the game, Darryl, real quick, thinking they're happy, they got it all together, they're fine. No, they're not. So, what's the math behind it all? Because if the math isn't there, you ought to leave this room right now and go someplace where there is the math. Most people don't realize it. You ask anybody, where are you working? Why are you working? What's the math there? What do you mean? What's the math that you're going to make $250,000 a year there?
Zero problem.
See, you got to see that as a problem.
Yeah.
Where's the math that you're going to be worth $1 million at age 65? Oh, I don't think I'm going to need $1 million. See, they don't know the problem. You're the expert. You know that they're 25 years old, 30 years old today. They better have $1 million retirement. That's a problem they need to start fixing at age 25, not at age 45.
That's good.
One of our girls, Carolyn Myers, who works out of our office, will get a phone call every 3 years. And it goes like this. Carolyn, you came to my house several years ago. I'm ready to buy life insurance. True story. Every 2 to 3 years she gets one of these. What's the problem?
Yeah.
Well, I just found out my husband's got cancer.
Yeah.
Every 2 or 3 years. They discover the problem. That problem was there 2-3 years ago. They weren't aware of the problem. Right. Do you ever drive down the road and you see the door open in the back? Yeah, and the kids in the back seat, right? You big honking your horn, they're mad at you, glaring at you, giving you the stink eye. What do you want? What? Your door's open.
Yeah.
You got a problem. See? So let's take a look at the math of the decreasing responsibility theory, the first of which is dying too soon. That's a problem. The 4 problems I'm going to hit today, and you can hear them tonight. But you've got to totally ingratiate yourself with the total belief, I'm a problem solver, they've got a problem, and I'm committed to solving 1 million problems in the next 30 years. How do you solve 1 million problems? How many people live in Detroit, population-wise? I don't know. 5 million, 6? No, I'm talking about population. 5 or 6 million?
Yeah.
How many of those are families? 2 million, let's say. How many of those people have problems?
2 million.
2 million. See what I mean? If you're going to start a church, how many people do you want to rescue from eternal damnation?
All of them.
Because that's a problem.
Right.
See what I mean? You don't think you're going to hell. That's the problem, right?
Right.
See, the problem isn't that it's not there, it's that you don't recognize it as a problem until it's too late. So let's go to the math of it all. As I said earlier, if they have a family, I believe in insurance on children that are living at home and are not married in their 20s. When Andrew went to college, he went to the University of Arkansas, and that's a 6-hour trip, 5 or 6 hour trip one way. Guess what I did when freshman year? I bought him life insurance on his life. For his sake,
No.
for my sake.
Yeah.
Because why? Kids don't have accidents and die in the accident. Kids have accidents, and what's the problem? They don't die. And they're living as a vegetable in a nursing home.
Yep.
So now I'm not saying rush out there and sell, help people get life insurance of single people. But we know that the problem is evident with married people. Yes, Larry?
Got stories that you talking about kids. Reggie Cole, one of my districts. Guy he been trying to talk to last year to get some life insurance. Got 3 kids, wife. He kept putting Reggie off. Reggie asked me to call him. I called him because I know him. He goes to Reggie's church, and I know a lot of people at the church. Kept putting off, Bill. So last week, his son died. 2 years old.
So sad.
2 years old. And luckily he had just got a new job and got some coverage on his job that covered the kids, which very few companies cover kids. And that's the only way he was able to make sure his son. I'm going to the viewing today, the funeral tomorrow. And I called him the other day, and Reggie was over there, and he said, you know what, I should have listened to you guys, but I'm going to have to talk to you, Reggie, as soon as I get all this.
See, he had that problem coming 3 years ago, before even child was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's look at this. If you ask a person, what are some of the important things in your life, and be honest with you, they're important, right? Is your family important to you? Yeah. Having a home, is that important to you? Well, yeah, we want a place to live. Anymore, isn't a car important? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Car's important, right? Isn't a cell phone important? Yeah, it's gone from a luxury to a necessity in our lives, right? Wouldn't it be horrendous if you lost your cell phone? And anymore, maybe a television is important. Because why? They provide stuff that maybe not just programming, but news and other stuff, right? Now, if we had to list, Dan, the order of priority, 1 through 5 or 6, what would be number 1 for you? Of all these, family, home, car, cell phone, television? Family's number 1, right? What would it be for you? Family, home, car, cell phone, TV? Danielle?
Family.
All right. Now, if you do that with somebody, what are they going to say? Yeah. All right. Do you have life insurance? Do you have insurance on your TV? Oh, yeah, because I've got coverage in my house. Right. Do you have insurance on your cell? Oh, yeah. You got protection on your car? Well, yeah, you have to have it. Do you have protection on your home? Yeah. Now, do you have protection on your family? Isn't that amazing? Now, you do a lot with real estate and homes, right, Garmin? If I've got a $200,000 house, how much homeowners coverage should I have on a $200,000. What is an acceptable amount of coverage I should have on my $200,000 house? How much? No. You don't understand. I'm talking about acceptable coverage. Adequate coverage.
$1 million.
See the point I'm making? You don't go, the value of the house. Plus what? In inflation, right?
Yeah.
I don't say, well, I got plenty, I got 100,000. No, the replacement value is 200,000. No, I got plenty, I'm good, I'm happy. Yeah, I've got, you see how we buy it? He's happy.
Yeah.
Now, how many people, by the way, do you know you don't have to have coverage on your house? Did you know that? If you own a house? I own my house. I don't have to have a dime's worth of insurance on it. You think you have to have insurance, that's because the bank requires you to. You don't have to have any. But do you think I say, well, I don't have to have any of that stuff, I own the house? No, I have protection on it. How much? Whatever the appraised value is, correct? And a little bit more, because it's gonna appreciate hopefully, right? But take a look at this. They've got a problem because what? They are prioritizing everything incorrectly. Because people think, I need this because it's tangible, right? I could lose my car. I could lose my house. But when they can't imagine the intangible losing their life, although it is tangible. They can't imagine that. Because how many of us can imagine dying one day? None of us. None of us. Like in our Bible study, we said, we don't need all this Bible study stuff. We don't need to go to church. We don't even need the Bible. We just need about 5 minutes in hell. About 5 minutes in hell, we're good. We got it down, right? Why? Because we understand the problem now. So what happens is most people are not fully protected. Again, what did I say earlier? The average American is $240,000 under protected. So that is a problem people have. See, again, I want to emphasize to you, the problem isn't that they have the problem. The problem is they don't realize they have the problem, and you don't realize they have the problem. So we don't talk to them because, and stress to them, by the way, you got a problem we need to talk about. Anybody married here? How would you like to have this conversation? What's your name?
Robert.
Robert. We got to talk.
Yeah. Ouch. Yeah, that's
Don't.
That's a problem.
That's it. There is a problem that she wants you to solve. So the problem is that we don't think there's a problem, or we think they're happy. We grade on a curve with this stuff, right? So everybody needs an extra $250,000 of life insurance. So why do we recruit people? Let's get down to the math of it. Why do we bring people in the store to say, we can help you make $250,000, $500,000 here in the next 2 to 3 years? You don't believe that. Why don't you believe it? Because no one in this room is doing it yet, maybe except for me. That doesn't mean it can't be done. The problem comes in that we recruit people because they have 100 people with problems in their cell phone. That's not 100 names. That's 100 problems that need to be solved. So if you went out there and I tell people this, I'm going to say it tonight. Give me your dadgum cell phone and I'll make the money. Yeah. There's at least 50 to 75 clients in there. Now, they might all buy $1 million. Some might buy 50. They need extra protection. Mm-hmm. So they got 100 names in their cell phone of people with problems. Right? And if they're millennial, how much do they say they needed?
400.
400,000. This is Insurance News .net. I can send it to you. This is not just off the top of my head. We know people need more life insurance, don't we? See, the problem there is the word need. Find a need and fill it has no teeth. Find a problem and solve it. What did I say? If you see a guy in a van driving down Telegraph Road, and it says heating and air conditioning, and it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon, where's he going?
Solve a problem.
To solve a problem of what? Either one or two things. Heat, or Dallas could be the same day, by the way. I left Dallas, it was 77 degrees this morning. And 5 days ago we had the heat on, right? Because it's this time of the year. But once summer comes, bam, it's like your winters. Once it's here, it's here. The point is, if you were driving a van, you were going somewhere, and you had Primerica Financial Solutions on it, what would people be saying? Oh, Troy's going to solve somebody's problem. Because what? He's in a Primerica Financial Solutions problem-solving business. But we don't see it that way. We're just going down the road to talk to somebody and show them what we do. And lay out our services to them and then let them know if there's any needs out there, we can help them. See, what's the problem word? Help, need, serve. When people have a problem and you know it and they don't, you have a duty and obligation to let them know they have a problem. If I pass by your house and I see water spewing from your spigot on the side of your, excuse me, can I serve you, Thurman? You don't mind? I like helping people. This may help you out a little bit. I don't know if it'll help at all. But I think you have a need there to maybe take care of something, but maybe not. How do I know? I'm not a plumber. What am I going to... Thurman, you're wasting water. The thing is spewing. You got a problem. See, we're great with problems, but we're weak with helping. Did you ever recruit somebody? I love helping people.
Right.
Then you don't come back to the next meeting. Right? So in the decreasing responsibility theory, which doesn't exist anymore. Did you know that? You ever hear decreasing responsibility? Don't even think it doesn't exist. Doesn't, and I'll show you that in a few minutes, right? Because why? This is assuming that people won't need life insurance one day. But what do they, if they're going to get cancer, how old do you think they're going to be?
Most of it is over 60.
And how are they going to have to pay for what the insurance won't pay for? How are they going to pay for that?
They're retirement if they have it, maybe.
See, we got something in our business called the what? Terminal Illness Benefit Rider. I was talking to Cindy Kicklighter. She's had cancer for 5 years, $250,000 out of her pocket, and she's got insurance. She's going to Mexico, and she's going to South Dakota, and she's going to Phoenix to get these others. She said, no one should cancel their life insurance. Nobody. Why? Because down the road, when you're 70, 75, you need $250,000 to be able to take out $100,000 instead of out of your savings, right? Because the whole purpose is to save you from dying, and then but then what? You've sucked out $100,000 or $200,000 out of your savings. Now what are you going to do? So, decreasing responsibility theory in this room alone, and we're not telling this to the client right now at this stage, but down the road, you're always going to need life insurance. I heard rumors that one day they're going to be able to take our life insurance policies for older people and, much like the terminal illness benefit rider, pull money out for nursing homes. Because all it is a loan against your policy. That's all it is. You go to a bank and say, Fred here's John Smith is going to pass away in the next 5 years probably, and he's got a $500,000 policy. We want to pull out $200,000, and it will make you the beneficiary. And then you get your $200,000 plus interest out. Any bank in America would do that.
Sure.
Well, because why? Premiums got to be paid. They can make sure the premiums are being paid, right? So that's coming eventually, right? So we solve dying too soon problem, don't we? But first we have to know they got a problem, and everybody's got 100 names in their cell phone, 100 problems, not names. The second problem is what? Living too long. Now we know that 50% of all Americans are not even putting money at all away into a 401k. Even if it's matched. We know for a fact today that the average person who's in their 50s has a max of $50-some thousand working so someday they can retire. Is that a problem?
Yes.
Is that a problem when most people are not even using their 401ks?
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something. The greatest thing that ever happened in this country are 401ks. Because it got us out of the pension program business into the, I've got my own money. Now we can do that same daggone thing with Social Security. Imagine if we could take 1/6 of our Social Security money. Think about that. You pay 15. Do you know how much you pay for Social Security? He doesn't. Is that a problem? Doesn't even know what he pays. You have a job?
No.
Well, you're paying 15% of your income to Social Security payments every year. Did you know that? Up to $90-some thousand. Did you know that? Because you're self-employed. Anybody here have a job? Who pays for your Social Security? Your company, and then you. You company pays 7.5. You pay 7.5. Did you know that? You didn't even know it. I didn't know it. See, the point is, but what if we can take some of that for retirement? They ain't gonna touch that, by the way. They ain't gonna do that one. I mean, there's a lot of things they'll do, but not that one. They don't touch Social Security. That lockbox. Don't touch Social Security. It's in a box with my name on it. I don't know. Why am I saying that? Because most Americans have a problem, and what's the problem, Zenaida? They don't have any money down the road. They don't know they could have a problem down the road. You know what the problem is? Retirement is no longer an age, it's an amount. How do you know they have a problem with living too long? Ask them a question. When do you plan to retire? If they give you an age, you're in trouble. Why? Because retirement is no longer an age, it's an amount. Most people, because of the old pension program, when I turn 65, I can retire and I'll have a stipend coming in from my pension program. There are no pension programs. Now it's, when I have $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 put away, then I can retire. And how many people even know that number? That's a problem if you don't know the number. When I got on that airplane today, he had a number. He said, here's how much gas I'm going to need to get us to Detroit. And I better have about 20% more just in case. Most Americans don't live their life adequately preparing for their futures. And by the way, you know it comes pretty quick, don't you?
Yep.
I mean, you think about Danielle. It seemed like just yesterday she was just starting to learn how to walk. Now, bam! 20-some years go by. So what has to happen here? Let's look at the math. Here's the math. Whether or not you agree with it, the experts say, because you don't know how long you're going to live and you don't know the rate of return, you should not take more than 5% of your net worth at age 65 or after out of your retirement account per year. So if you have $600,000 sitting in a 401k and you plan to retire, guess how much you should pull out of there? $30,000 a year.
Minus tax.
Pardon me?
Minus tax.
Minus taxes. Thank you. Because you got to pay taxes on it as you pull it out. And plus, Social Security be about, in today's dollars, $1,200–1,400. So you're living on about $40,000 to $5,000 a year and just quit a $70,000 a year job. And people say, well, my house is paid for, right? I remember years ago I was in Connecticut doing a meeting like this, and it was this older guy, my age now. And he said, you know, all that, he said, Bill, all that stuff, when you're older, your house is paid for, you don't need all that money. Let me tell you something. I paid about $25,000 to $30,000 for my house. I retired, and I had to have it tuck pointed. You can't tell people this in Texas, we don't know what tuck pointing is. You know what tuck pointing is? You don't know what it is. It's taking the brick, the grouting in the brick, and redoing it.
Oh,
Because it breaks off, right? And I had to get a new furnace. And I had to redo the air conditioning in my house. And I had to have a new roof put on. Am I right?
Yeah.
And then I had to have my teeth reworked.
yes, he only had signed down.
So my $25,000 house I paid for cost me up $50,000 or $60,000
Yeah.
just to bring it up to so I can sell the dadgum thing.
Wow.
You see, again, house is paid for, you don't need all that money.
Yeah.
We know in Primerica there's a big problem with living too long, and now we know what? If you're currently 25 to 30 years old, you're going to live to early 90s. My mother-in-law used to say pneumonia was an old man's best friend. Because when they got older, what got them? Pneumonia. Now they've got not cures, but antibiotics, and they can fix a lot of that. So you're going to live a lot longer. And you know what a nursing home costs? Troy, any ideas? Anybody know?
$8,000 to $15,000 a month.
You can probably get that's a Class A.
Sure.
You can get a Class C for about $4,000 to $5,000 a month. Now, when my father had lost his leg due to diabetes and poor circulation, we had to start looking for nursing homes for him. We found out there between Class A, B, and C nursing homes. Now, you have your mother, right, Sanaya? She said, would you want her living in an A nursing home, a B, a C, or a D? What's the difference between a D and an A? Quality of health, quality of food, quality of roommate, quality of this, quality of that. Which one can they afford? Like you heard me say, one woman can take care of 5 kids, but 5 kids can't take care of one older woman. So what happens is, this is a big problem. And how many people are right now preparing for one day to have that problem fixed? Or not? We show them how to put away $100 a month. Dan, in all the F&As you've done, how many people, when you tell them the monthly they got to have for their financial independence number, what percentage of the people you fix their problems, put away that amount of money you told them they had to put away?
10%.
Larry, what percent of yours? Mine was 0.
2, maybe
Mine was 0.
1 to 2%.
And if they did, it's because they were in their 50s. And the kids were all grown and gone, right? And you didn't need money for college, you didn't need money for cars, you didn't need money for stuff, right? And weddings and stuff, right? But most people, they're lucky they come up with 100, 150, $200 a month is rare in Primerica. So they're going to be grossly underprotected with life insurance, grossly underprepared for retirement, which means what? They can never retire. Retirement is an obsolete word. It's not even in their dictionary. Because why? It's a problem because it's an amount, not an age. Now, who else is talking to them like that? Is that a problem? Now, let's talk about it. Will banks help them with this? Will stockbrokers help them with this. Real estate agents help them with this. Health insurance companies help them with this. The guy at the office around a drinking cooler that knows everything. Well, he help them with problems like this.
And the problem with all those titles and deals, they're unqualified. Not qualified.
Now, if I told you, I want to build a house for you in Oneida, you're going to say what? What are your qualifications?
Educate.
Oh, yeah, I really like building. And right, I watch HGTV all the time. Right? They got this one in Detroit, don't they have somebody?
Yeah.
Does that qualify me?
No.
No, you're not
See,
hired.
Where are you going to go? See, stockbrokers, they don't know the insurance side of it.
Right.
Bankers know nothing. Lawyers know nothing. CPAs know nothing. So we are the only ones that can fix that problem. You are the only one that can fix that problem. Now, when we sit down with people with a mutual fund, why mutual funds? It fixes problems. What's the problem people have with investing money? They don't have a lot. People say, well, I put my money in real estate. $100 a month? What's the minimum I got to come up with just to invest in houses like you tonight?
That's 50,000.
50,000. Now, how many people got an extra 50,000 and you've got to go to work? It's not just here's my 50. You got to do something with it, right? And you can lose that 50.
Yep.
You don't know what you're doing. In fact, guys like you make a lot of money off people that get 50,000 and don't know what they're doing. They mess up and they screw up the house that you buy for 25 2 years later, right? See, well, how does mutual fund?
Right.
How do mutual funds fix that problem? Small amount. Right now, 100 different companies. Morningstar rated 4 and 5 star funds. These are the cream of the crop funds.
Yeah.
And same thing with life insurance. Our life insurance policy, Cindy Kicklighter did this. You know, Cindy Kicklighter came down with cancer 5 years ago. Was deemed 2 times separate occasions terminal. And so she was able to, and she's got alternate. I mean, it's an amazing story. She's looked like she's gonna make it, and she got hip replacement coming up in a couple weeks. But she called up a company that handles all these different life insurance policies for a quick quote kind of thing, right? And she taped it, and she uses it for training. Well, blah, blah. She doesn't say who she is this, you know, all that other stuff. And she starts asking questions. Well, what if I come down with cancer? Can I get money out? No, there's no company on the planet that can get that out. I mean, all these different things. Is it renewable? Well, no, it's not renewable. Right? It converts to whole life. All these little give it in the big print, take it away in the small print type things. We don't understand what we've got hold of here to solve worthy people's problems and needy people's problems. So therefore, you got to be very, very proud of yourself because we fix hairy problems. And they are hairy to them. Again, you've got 100 names in your cell phone. How many of those 100 names, Troy, have an insurance, inadequate amount of life insurance problem? 100% of them. All right. What percentage of those 100 people have a live too long problem? 100% of them. Thank you. So Troy, let's assume you say to me today the craziest words you can ever say. I'm good. Give me your daggone cell phone. Right? What? Let's look at this. Let's assume 50 people become clients. 50. And an average premium of $1,000, which is nothing. It's $3 a day, right? So that's $50,000 in Troy's what? Cell phone at what? 50%? That's $25,000 in income, and his cell phone sitting there waiting to be tapped. Oh, by the way, we know for a fact of the 100 people on your cell phone, especially around here, there's at least 80 of them have an old 401k ready to be rolled over, and let's just assume $15,000. 80 of them, let's just say 2 million, right? Just 2 million sitting in your cell phone at 2%. That's another $40,000. $65,000. Oh, yeah, forgive me. I forgot to tell you about this something called the Wall of Wealth. You ever hear about that? What's the Wall of Wealth is? What was your upline? Oh, no wonder. What? Lightweight. Now, what's the Wall of Wealth, Dan?
A whole lot of money sitting out there is gonna move in the next 50 years.
Older people have money, and then when they die, they leave inheritances to their children. Oh, now how much is that per family? You ready for this? Ready? $160,000 average per family. Not coming to John here, right? But to his parents when their parents die. Now, John here's got what? He's got what? He's got a mother and a father, and he's married, and his wife's got a mother and a father.
Oh, yes.
So what are the parents going to be getting in generation wealth transfer? $160,000 each. And there's only what? 200 of them. Oh, a quick add, that's 32 million.
Hey, Bill. The one whose parents are dying, that person's probably a baby boomer.
Baby boomer. So that's 32 million, and you get 2% there, Troy, in case you're trying to figure it out. I'll help you. That's $640,000 in investments in income. So that's $705,000 in your cell phone. Oh, Troy, 1 second, Troy. It's not over yet. Because we get to the third problem. What's the third problem? I'll talk about the third problem in a second. No Troy's got in those 100 people? 5 people in that cell phone that have a problem. I want to have a better life.
Yeah.
So guess what those 5 people have each in their cell phone? 100 people. So that's 500. So guess what? That's not 2 million, that's 10 million. Got 10 million. And you're getting a 0.5% override. That's $100,000 in override income on the securities they sell. And those 5 people, guess what? Those people, they got 500 names. That's $250,000 in premium. Got the picture? $250,000 in premium. Where that's coming from? Because half those people need more life insurance at $1,000 each at 20%. So that's another $50,000 there. You starting to get the picture? Oh, and those 5 people have what? 1,000 parents. 1,000 parents are getting inheritance money. Do you ever drive by an old part of town and you go, oh, those floppy old houses? Those houses aren't worth anything. But the land is. And guess what? Some old couple, they own that house 40, 50 years ago. It was their mansion. Now it's just a 2-bedroom shack that's going to be torn down. When they die, guess what? That's going to be sold for $200,000. That's the inheritance money I'm talking about. And guess what? Those 5 people have 200 people each. Got that? That's 1,000. What? At $160,000 each? And you didn't know that coming in, did you? You're sitting, that cell phone is a treasure trove of making money. You didn't even know, did you? Oh, don't get me started, right?
Go ahead.
You see these 5 people? Guess who they got in their cell phone? 5 people. And guess those 25 people get what? 125? 625? And so that's 625 at 100 each, that's what? 6,250. No, I'm sorry, 62. That whatever 625 00 62,500 people that need life insurance. I need. And now let's get to the investments on 62,000 people. And 50% of those people have a rollover of about $20,000. And they each have what? About 130,000 families, parents are going to get an inheritance. See how we can fix your problem? Again, give me your daggum cell phone. You don't give yourself. You don't want to do anything with it. You could probably do nothing, right? Give me your cell phone. I'll make the money. I'll recruit the 5 people. I'll make the $80,000, $90,000. I'll do it. You won't do it. I'll do it, for God's sake, Robert. You haven't been doing it anyway, have you? Then give me your cell phone. I'll get rich. I'll make millions in the next 5 years. All of you, all y'all. Next 10 years, anywhere between 8 to 12 million in income. It's sitting there. The math. It's not. Well, Bill, that's your opinion. Did I just say insurancedebt.com? Did I just say investment weekly? Okay, I got the math. Yes, Simon.
Read that we may not have enough because there's only.
I didn't hear you.
We may not have enough to do this because there's only 24 trillion in 401ks and IRAs.
And there's between 30 and 60 trillion in inheritance money coming.
Oh, my.
We don't think there's a problem out there. We're starving to death and we're sitting in the middle of a grocery store. And never say God, say God never blessed me. You say, hello, you got a cell phone? Yeah. You live in America? Yeah. You live in Detroit? Yeah. Here's the math. Go sick 'em. Well, if I can just get the government to do something for me. Yeah, Larry?
Yeah, that's right.
It's a big one. It's a diamond mine, gold mine, and oil well all combined. Now, remember I talked about 3 problems? 4 problems? Here's the 3rd problem. First problem is what? Second problem.
Too long.
What's the 3rd problem? That 100% of your income is coming off of you, John. That's a problem. What does J. Paul Getty say? 1% income should be coming off 100 or more people. So, what's the problem in 100% income off of 1? Let's just talk about the problem he's unaware of.
Can't work.
It can't work. So,
This is
if you can't work, you can't get paid, right?
right.
So how are you going to make your money? Is that a problem?
Yep.
What's another problem? Bad boss? Hate your job? What's the number 1 cause of illness in America under the age of 50? Stress. And what's the number 1 stressor in America today? Job stress. The average American is going to have 8 to 12 jobs in their life. And every time they leave a job, guess what? They're a year or 2 older.
Yeah.
And they get older and older and older, then they wake up one day, and the number 1 discrimination in America today is age. You do stuff with plumbing, right? Right? I got this guy. You need to help him out. He's 82. He's a plumber. He's got some bad arthritis. Would you mind hiring him to do your Bill, I love you. I don't want an 82-year-old with arthritis.
It'll never get done.
It's age. The older you get, right? It's ageism is a problem. Because why? What else is a problem? AI. Artificial intelligence replacing your job. How many people here shop online? Guess what? Why are malls closing? Because you're shopping online. Would you rather go inside the bank and talk to a banker or do an ATM? Would you rather go to a bank or do online banking? But they're doing without people. They're trying to eliminate people. They can't wait to have driverless cars to eliminate all the truck drivers. And the liability, all that other stuff, right? And that's way down the road. But you got a sense, you got a problem. When you sit down with somebody, you go, what do you do for a living? Well, I work for, oh, no, you're kidding. Oh, whoa, whoa. I didn't realize it was that bad. You okay? It's bad. Why? Because we know the end of that story. I had this incredible lunch today with my good friend, Darryl Bonner. And I have a picture of him at a McDonald's. And I swear I will expose him to all his friends, because he's kind of uppity in the air with elitism about fast food. But he was telling me at lunch today about your friends with both people that had years and years of problems that's coming home to roost right now. What could they possibly be? How old are they?
40s.
40s. What do you think's happening in Detroit, Michigan, and you work for General Motors? And you didn't know that was coming. Well, tell us the two problems.
Well, got cut loose. You know, one thought his job was untouchable. He thought that they were totally dependent on him, and the sun would never set. And then one day he walked in, he got walked out.
And he's how old?
He just turned 40 a week ago.
So he's more attractive at age 25 or 40? More needy at 40, see what I mean? And what's the other one?
And the other one also works for General Motors, and seeing that the sun is going to be setting on him soon, he's like 42.
Now, you got 100 names in your cell phone, Troy? Now, how many of those people have insurance problems? How many of those have living too long problems? How many of those have a problem that they have 100% of their income coming off of one, and the story he's telling is going to happen to them? All of them. 100 in their cell phone. So it's not a matter of, well, they're happy. Try spending happy. I'm happy. We're good. Oh, they couldn't do without me. They would fall apart if I, and you got to go an hour to work at a job you hate, in an hour's worth of traffic you hate, just to get there, and then an hour back traffic you hate, just to get there, right? Now, if you're a school teacher in Detroit, what kind of pay raises are they going to get this next year? None. I don't think that's the case. It's probably like 2%. Now, what's inflation?
3%.
Oh, so you're taking a pay cut every year. Now, who determines whether or not you get a pay raise? How well you do as a teacher? Oh, a bunch of what? People who are in the school board and the legislature. Is that a problem? See, of the 100 people in your cell phone, tell me how many of them don't have a problem that needs to be solved, and that problem that needs to be solved, 100% of their income comes from them. Art Williams said it. You have two problems. Number one, you have what? A limited income. Here, see, in America today, people have a fixed income with a variable expense life. And when Obamacare came out, I had more people, all of a sudden they're paying $1,500, $1,800 a month for health care. Where'd that come from? Well, they didn't have it before, right? Now, their fixed income, and all of a sudden their son turns 16, and guess what they need?
Car.
Oh, they didn't need it at 15. So all of a sudden that's an expense. Now you need braces. Now you need Air Jordans. Now you need, you send your kids to college. Now you need education and all these various things. I got children that need tutors, grandchildren that need tutors. Which means what? They're smart kids, they just need a little bit more help than the other kids, right? Well, that's free though, isn't it? That teacher will take time after school to help him. No. Guess what? That's $200 a month that we didn't expect. No, it's not. Whoa, where'd that come from? See? That's what happens when you have a fixed income and a variable expense. You don't know what's coming. Like Carol did not know this bug was coming. And we had Ricky, Ricky, our beloved Ricky in our house. His wife died.
No.
Yeah, about 2 months ago, Betty. And she's had health problems her entire life. And in and out of the hospital, but it's not cheap. And he didn't expect her to die. So she had no life insurance on her life because she couldn't get any because she's been in ill health her whole life. So guess what happened? You know what happened. The point is that that's life. The unexpected, right? Oh, I can't believe. Car accident. How that? They're not going to pay for everything. And sure enough, if you get hit by a car, the other guy is an uninsured motorist. And it's your deductible. And I got hit and it cost me $1,000. Because this guy was going around because he was, didn't want to get insurance. And guess what happened to him? Nothing. They didn't want to fool with him. They just let the insurance companies handle it. They didn't even charge him. Nothing. He's out on the street the next day driving uninsured. You know how it is. The point I'm making is that fixed income that's a problem because of 100% off one. Art Williams said a limited income is a problem when you have a life of unlimited expenses. The second problem is insecure income. What does that mean? Might not be there to borrow. Can't guarantee anything. Troy, where do you work? Guaranteed that salary, they're never going to let you go. Right? That guaranteed? Is that okay with you? Now, what do you think I've got on that airplane today if there wasn't a pretty good chance that everything's going to be fine? You ever know anyone that lost their job? More than one? Maybe hundreds? Over the course of it. See what I mean? That's a problem. So that needs to be what? If you have a problem, it needs to be fixed. There's only one fix to 100% off one problem. That's what J. Paul Getty said, is having 1% of your income come from 100 or more people. And one of the most famous men in Detroit history found that out. His name was Henry Ford. He was working in a garage building cars by hand when he first started out. Hourly worker. What was his problem? Limited income, insecure income. He might lose a finger. He might have a car fall on him. That's before they had the assembly line, right? See, the assembly line, and this is fascinating to me. All people get wealthy not because they come up with a new idea. They come up and they see two elements that have been there the whole time, and they find a way to integrate them. Isn't that something? Like the airplane. They had what? Gliders. They had the engine. And the Wright brothers going, wait a second, glider, engine? What if we put the two of those together? All great things happen when they not invented anything, but saw two common things and put them together. That's all chemistry is. They're taking elements that everyone knows about and put two things together. So guess what he saw? He saw what? Two common elements, car assembly and the assembly line. And he thought, well, let's put those two things together. He didn't invent the assembly line. And so instead of his income being 100% off himself, like Joe, who was a better worker than him, he became the richest man in the world because why? He had 100 people on that assembly line. You have to make up your mind in life. You want to be Joe, assembling that car, hourly, knowing that what? One day you're going to be obsolete. Or you can what? Have an assembly line income life. It's amazing how many people go, I'll 100% off me. Because why? Since you've been in grade school, you've been brainwashed and indoctrinated to have a 100% off one life. That's why J. Paul Getty said 1% off 100. So guess what? How do we solve Troy's problem? Troy? We show you a 1% off 100 life. We can solve that problem. But first, I have to recognize you got a problem. See, until you recognize you have a problem, do you have a problem? Like I said, how many people does it take to change a light bulb? One, but the light bulb really has to want to change. You're not getting this. Millennials. Right over there. Did you get that one? Thank you, thank you. But the point is, do you want to change? Or do you honestly think, you know, Bill, I'm the exception. I'm going to skate through me. I know all these other people. I know layoffs. I know that it's going to automation. But I think I'm going to make it. Good. Name one person that's made it. Happily ever after. Name one person that you know that's living happily ever after, and you went to grade school, high school, college, and had that college degree. And then you work for a company and you're living happily ever after. You know, name one. Just please, anybody. I've done this in front of 1,000 people and no one would raise their hand. If you can't think of one, they don't exist. So the problem is you're trying to succeed at something that doesn't exist. When we were at lunch today, I don't understand it. The guy was wearing a T-shirt that said, I heart Edward. And on the back it said, yeah, call me crazy. I'm in love with a fictitious person. Whatever that means. If we're in love with a fictitious future, you're as crazy as he is. He's in love with a fictitious person. You're in love with a fictitious system. Larry, name somebody who, right? But they got it made, they're making money, they can never do without, they got a good corporate job, right? Tell me what life is like if you work for a corporation and make $200,000 a year. What's life like?
They own you.
They own you. Any stress there?
A lot of stress.
Oh, any travel there? Oh, any responsibility there? How many hours a day are you working? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, if you make $250,000 a year here, how many hours a week are you working? 0.
Do you work real?
No?
This is office again, huh?
My wife likes a man in uniform. What can I say? And where do you see Art Williams? The point I'm making is, if you have 100% off one, you can never back down, you can never slow down, I don't care how much money you've got. You've got to keep performing. 1% off 100. My 8th year in the business, I could have totally stopped everything many decades ago, and even to this day, I'd be making over $200,000 a year in income, and not have worked for all these years. That's what we're promising to you. Now, what's the basis of that promise? You've got a cell phone with 100 names in it, and those people have 4 problems. They got 100 names. Now, of the people in your cell phone, what percentage of them have 100% off one? All. What's going to happen to them? Tell me the rest of their story. The rest of everybody's story is the same one, Simon. See, what we want to offer them is a 1% off 100. Where we get 5 of those people. Remember I just shared with you? Those 5 people have what? 5 people. Have 5 people. Have 5 people. 15,000, 75,000, 365,000. Whatever it is, 75,000. That's a math. That's the math of it. See, that's where this is coming from. That's why Sam Walton said, you must learn to multiply yourself so you can be more than one place at a time. Here, when you're working, you're it. You're a CPA, you're working. You're a doctor, you're working. You're a lawyer, you're working. You can never back off. Years ago, I was head of a youth ministry, and I tried to recruit the guy that was our head guy in the youth ministry, and even had him come to Atlanta for a convention, and it wasn't his thing. And I saw him, he's been in construction business now for about 15 years. And I was talking to him, he knows what I do, and he just shakes his head. Bill, you know how many phone calls I get a day? 60. You know how many of those are headaches? 60. You know how many times I get sued a year? Twice. You have a construction business. Would you like to have your life depend on jobbers? On guys that fix plumbing? Like Mike Tuttle said, to anybody in construction, tomorrow means sometime in the next 20 years. You ever try to get anything done, fixed? Every time we've had anything built or fixed in construction, it turns out to be one of these. Because they can't get people to do what they say they're supposed to do. True story, right here. See this? Let me show you something right here. My cell phone. See the black? That's me calling out. See the red?
Yeah.
Larry, that was last night during the hockey game. See all the black? See anybody calling in? Very few. My wife, Josh Huffman, Nida, she called me incorrectly. She meant Patrick. I said, come on, Ashley. I don't get any phone calls.
So Bill, what you're saying, you can make that, man.
Thank you. Let's see. 1% off 100. What's your life look like? Got emails. Go on vacation. You got to take because wow, you're on call. You better take your cell phone with you. You better have 2 cell phones. You better answer all your emails. And guess what? When you're on vacation, you better be working because if you don't, when you get back, your butt's in trouble. You get threatened. If you don't get your butt going, we're going to fire you. But we don't need you. There's people standing in line. You understand that? You ever been talked to like that? Not here. Troy, that's what we're offering you. And I'm talking about $100,000 to $200,000, $300,000 income next 2 to 3 years if you do what we tell you to do. And the first thing is understand that you got 100 names in your cell phone. They got 500 in theirs and 2,500 in theirs and 16,500 in theirs and 63,000 in theirs. And all cell phones. And they all got problems. They all got life insurance problems. They all have rollover problems. Their parents are going to have an inheritance problem. And they all have what? 1% off, 100% off one problems. Once you understand, we solve problems. We don't recruit people. We had Keenan in Tennyson went out and one day. He said, I'm going to try Bill's principle out. So he asked 3 people, can I quote you an extra $100,000 of life insurance? He wrote $3,000 in premium that day. Why? They have problems. And he knows it. And until I ask him, I can't help him. Reggie, you can make $250,000 in 2022. I mean, it's sitting there on your cell phone. How many of you got your cell phone, Reggie? How many? 100. Everyone's got 100. How many got yours, Thurman?
300.
Probably 100 good ones. That's the point I'm making. I went to Betty's funeral, and this guy that sat across from us. He said, "What do you guys do?" I said, "We solve people's financial problems. Like in this church, they had a dinner after her funeral, and it was a 3-hour-plus funeral." And Mike Tuttle, a good friend of mine, you know what he said? "I hope I go before Ricky, because I couldn't take another one of these."
That's Mike Tuttle.
You gotta know Mike Tuttle. The point I'm making is that I said to him, right in this room right here, there's $100,000 in income to somebody who wants to get it. He said, "How many of those?" He said, "I know all these people." That was just in rollovers.
Yeah.
Rollovers. Not inheritance money, not life insurance needs, not recruiting people. This is just right there. If everyone knew you could solve their problem, they do business with you, because he would say, what? A deacon in that church. And how many people are sitting in the middle of that grocery store starving to death? Again, seriously, if you won't do it, give us your cell phone. We'll get rich off of it. Now, what's the fourth problem? The fourth problem, and I'm going to Atlanta next week. We're doing, Art Williams has got a meeting there next the 9th of May. And he's speaking, and he's having several of us speak with him. He calls it the last chapter of the A. Williams story. And there's going to be 1,000 of us there. It's incredible. And I started, in the theme that Lisa Jones is coming out with it's a book. I forgot the name, but with like about 10 different authors in it. I forgot to call that. And I'm one of the authors, and I chose my subject to be being somebody. Because Art Williams built a company on the principle that everybody wants to be somebody. And he said, it actually built it, and I'll talk about this tomorrow morning at length. 13 words that built an iconic company. I want to be somebody so bad it borders on being an obsession. And I'm going to do this tonight, and I'm going to go through this with you right now. We've got to stop looking for people that don't want to be somebody.
Right.
Wow.
We got to start filling up our appointments with people that have a sense there's got to be more to life than I promise you. Before Primerica, I used to go to bed. I used to work for a steel company. And then one of all our clients, big clients, were the auto manufacturers. I lived in Pittsburgh for 2 years, and they transferred me down to Atlanta. And I called on people in Georgia and South Carolina, so I could leave on a Tuesday, come back on a Thursday night. And I kept saying, there's got to be more to life than this. There's got to be more to life than this. When I was at the steel company, my first week there, we had to park across the river in Pittsburgh. And crossing the bridge, people in front of us, I'm brand new to the industry, right out of school, and heard people say, "Well, that's another week shot to hell." How many people week after week are shot to hell?
Yeah.
And it grates on you. And I read John Maxwell's book recently, The Power of Intention. And he said, and the whole book is about having a significant life, and living a life of significance, purpose, and meaning, and having your life matter. And he says in there, when I chose to start building my company, he's got his own company, I had to find people that didn't just want a job and a paycheck, they wanted significance and purpose and meaning in their life. You know, there's certain things in life that people go into and they know they're not going to get rich. But they do it because they want to make a difference with their life. Maybe it's the military, or maybe it's a school teacher, or maybe it's police work or fireman's work. There's certain professions, they go in there because they want to make a contribution to their fellow man. And they get there, and I remember talking to a guy, he said, Bill, if I get a guy in here and all they want to do is show up and get a paycheck, I can't do anything with them. They turn out to be the worst workers. See, we're trying to recruit people who don't want to be somebody. They're just trying to what? Even if they start saying, well, if they're not here tonight, you know what that means? Give up on them. Mm-hmm. Give up on them. Why? They don't want to be somebody. You give a slug horse a little bit of a whip and they slow down. You give a thoroughbred, like on Saturday, Kentucky Derby, they want to run. They want to race. You're looking for people that want to run. If they go, well, I don't know, this sales out, never mind. Do I have to deal with people I don't like dealing with? Never mind. Because some people just want to be in their computers. They hide from the world. Fine. They'll never make a difference with their life.
Yeah.
And Art Williams would say, when they're patting your face with a shovel, on your tombstone is going to be dud or stud.
Wow.
You cannot bear the thought on your tombstone, and by the way, your name and date of birth and date of death is going to be on there, but everyone who walks by that knows you knows whether it should be dud or stud.
Wow.
Everybody. And we think we can get away with all that stuff. Living a life of meaninglessness, right? Even the military, they attract you by wanting you. Don't you want to make a difference? Don't you want to amount to something with your life? You know, when I was growing up, you don't hear this anymore, but they would call people behind their backs no counts. Yeah. You never heard that anymore. Back then, that guy's a no count, which means what? Nothing he did in his life counted for anything. He would just take, never gave anything back. You know those kinds of people, they're takers. They take and take and take, and they try to get something from you, always trying to borrow money from you, always broke, always right, always trying to take, never ever give anything back, and then they want to know why they're broke, right? You got to say to yourself, I want to be somebody I'm proud of. And then start looking for people that want to be somebody. They want to make a difference with their life. Every morning, I did this at 5 o'clock this morning. I'm in the shower, showering to come here. And I got my ritual. I say my definite major purpose statement. I'm not going to go through the whole thing. If you've been to my multiples workshop, you've heard it. But one part of it is I help people do something special with their life. People that want to be somebody, amount to something, have significance, purpose, meaning, honor, respect, and dignity in their life. See, because if you don't want to be somebody, you're not going to have honor, respect, and dignity. Because honor, respect, and dignity comes by your what? Devoting your life to making other people's lives better. The only way you can be a somebody is by what? Helping somebody else become a somebody. And we've got to stop taking nobodies who don't want to be a somebody and try to make them into a somebody because you need another recruit. So I went through this, and I'm going to give this out tonight. I said, who are we looking for in Primerica? This should be part of your presentation. I teach my people in Dallas, you got to go through these 4 problems. Their problem is the right kind of people want to be somebody. And it gnaws on them that they're getting older by the day, another week shot to hell. And they have nothing to show for it. There's no meaning. Their have no purpose. Their life does not matter. Think about that. Does your life matter? Do you really feel, Troy, like you're doing something important with your life? Then they gall you. It's got to gall you. And if it doesn't gall you, you're wasting your time here. Seriously, you got our names in your cell phone, you make a lot of money, but you won't last a week. Because why? Art Williams said it. Dan, you can finish it. You must see yourself involved in something bigger than just your business. Art Williams made up his mind, and he built a whole company and by finding guys like me. Like Jimmy Myers said in one of the videos, when I heard Art Williams say, I want to be somebody so bad, it borders on being an obsession. You know what he said? I knew he was talking about me.
Yep.
You're at General Motors. You really, I know line, you really feel like you're making a difference with your life.
No.
You really feel like you're, now you can maybe think, you know, at least you can figure it out maybe, but no one does. You're just what? They'd like to replace you with a computer and a robot, but they can't. I heard this guy the other day say he was kind of struggling what he wanted to do with his life, and he went to college, and he decided to become a security guard at night. And he was walking his beat, and all of a sudden a guard dog came from behind the fence and it hit him. We are professional people together. He's in security, I'm in security. I'm no better than a dog. You can hire a dog to do what I do.
Wow.
How many of us, our self-esteem goes in if we think we could be replaced? To think, I gave him all the years of my life, and what do I have to show for it? And the tough part is, he has nothing to show for it. He's of no value. They told him that. They got rid of you because you have no value. Well, who are we looking for? What kind of people are Primerica kind of people? People that sincerely want to make a difference in the lives of other people. Takers are not welcome here. You're not going to do well here. You're going to struggle here. We're looking for people that want to make a difference, want to make other people's lives better. The big question at the end of your life is, did you leave this world a better place? One of the things my mom, dad taught me. It's interesting how when you use something, if you said to Larry, could we use your facility for a Saturday night thing? Yeah. And he comes back Monday morning. Guess what happens a lot? It wasn't picked up. It wasn't vacuumed. It's amazing, right? Larry should come in here and go, you know, this place is better than I left it on Friday. Cleaner, neater. See, is this world going to be better because you were here? Or are you just going through the motions? That's what I did at the steel company. Monday morning, how's it going, Bill? 5 more days and it's Friday. TGIF. I love Thursday. Thursdays, not Fridays, were my favorite day. Why? Because the next day was Friday. Then I get this icky feeling in my pit of my stomach on Sunday nights, thinking about having to go to work Monday morning. What a way to live. Number 1 day of the week for heart attacks is what? Isn't that something? Kind of people are Primerica people who want their lives to count, to matter, and a life of significance and meaning. You know, Reggie, I don't know what all this means, but I don't know what it means, but I know it when I see it. I'm here today because I want to be somebody. And I'm looking for people that want to be somebody so bad. And that's what we're looking to attract, Larry. And if this turns them off, good luck. Because I know how that end of that story is going to be at the end of your life. You're on that bed. All your belongings are in a drawer. And you look back at your life, what did I accomplish with my life? I took all my life, I made a difference. I just made money, paid my bills, lived paycheck to paycheck. We are hardwired, Simon, to do something special. We're hardwired. And so what happens is, when you're hardwired to do something and you're going counter to it, you live a life of what? Frustration. Just watch Jamal Bryant's brilliant masterpiece, God Doesn't Want You to Have a Job. I've watched it, I think, 50 times, taking notes. You know what he says? When you're working out of your purpose, nothing good can happen. And your purpose is to make somebody else's life better and to live for other people. I truly believe, you ever meet my office manager, Yvonne? You ever talk to her? I believe this. She walks in every day with a subconscious mindset, I'm here to make Bill Orender's life better. And she smiled on her face, and she gives it, and she gives me more than I can ask for. She gives me this much value for this much pay. Most people give this much value for this much pay. Then they wonder why they're not getting ahead. And government, make up the difference. No, go get your butt, go on and serve somebody and make their life better. But see, they're never taught that. I'm telling you, you're either overvalued or undervalued. I believe I'm undervalued. I believe I'm giving more value than the money I'm making, and that's the way it should be, Larry. And then one day, what? The money will catch up. Another one. People that have a heartfelt desire to help people. Heartfelt means you're bothered by the fact that they have problems, and you feel like there's something you could do about that, and it bothers you that you haven't reached them yet. You know what bothers me? There's widows not getting a check today. You know what bothers me? There's people we haven't talked to yet living fruitless lives because we never got around to talking to them. Because why? I'm so grateful someone talked to me. Carol and I were talking the other day, and I got the greatest love of my life, Carol. We're at a wonderful age right now because we're at the age where, she's my best friend. You know, I don't have a lot of friends, but Carol's my best friend. I mean, I can spend, and we do. Can't wait. We get at the lake house. What do? Nothing. When we go there, we read books and watch movies and take naps and hang out with each other. And you better be with the right person, right? Because why? I mean, you better marry your best friend.
Yeah.
And I haven't. And if you're saying, Bill, I'm so glad we did what we did. So glad. Why? Because it would have turned out, if I stayed with corporate America, the company I was with, Reggie, went under. The third largest steel company in the United States. Unthinkable when I went to work for them. It's like General Motors going out of business. But you know what? If I put my lot in life and plant my flag there, but you know where I planted my flag? With wanting to be somebody. It'll never, ever, ever go wrong when you do that. Another one is, do you want to leave this world a better place because you were here? I think it's interesting how in our lives, we remember where we were when somebody died. Very few. I just throw some up. I remember some of you older folks, JFK, I remember where I was when he died. John Lennon, for whatever good or bad, I remember where I was when he died. I remember where I was when they had the Discovery crash, the thing blew up. Is anyone going to even remember where they were when you died? Do you think you're going to remember when you hear Art Williams died?
Yes.
Yes.
Assad?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Virginia, I remember exactly where I was. Where was I? Right in the parking lot of Assad Farage's office.
Me and you were in the car together.
I got the call.
Yes, sir.
June 18, 2000. 9 years. Isn't it amazing?
Wow.
By the way, Troy, her family, she died 9 years ago. None of her family is licensed. But their inheritance from this business is over $65,000 a month.
Oh.
Do you think you remember her? You leave them a check, they're going to remember you. Guess when it's going to end? Never.
Never.
Rachel, build this for your daughter, if nothing else. Give it to her.
It's good.
People that have a fire in their bellies to amount to something. I don't know what that means. None of this is, you can't touch it, but I don't know what love is, but I know love. I can't express it to you. People that wake up every day and say, is that all there is? You ever done that? Is that all there is? Another weak shot to hell? There's got to be more to life than this. You ever say that to yourself?
Sure.
You're looking, right, because you're out of your purpose. If you say those things, you're out of your purpose. And if you're out of your purpose, it's daunting because you'll never be fulfilled. Never.
Wow.
People that want to be somebody. It's really funny how Art Williams, I'm going to talk tomorrow about what Art Williams' definition of a somebody is. It said, people that are seeking to do something important and meaningful and God ordained. When was the last time you asked God, is this where you want me? See, this is where God wants me. I believe it. I wake up every day praising God, thanking God. And Art Williams, this was his favorite quote from Winston Churchill. And think about being somebody now, Danielle, and think about this Winston Churchill quote and why it fits in with the somebody model, okay, Sanaya? He said, there comes a special moment in everyone's life, a moment for which that person was born. You were born for something. You're born for something. Isn't that something? And if you're not doing that something, you'll never be fulfilled. You'll always have this gnawing. There's got to be more. I want more. There's something else I should be doing out there. That special opportunity, when he seizes it, will fulfill his mission. A mission for which he is uniquely qualified. In that moment, he finds greatness. It is his finest hour. When you work in your purpose, you can't wait to call people. When you work in your purpose, you can't wait to go into people's homes. When you're working your purpose, you can't wait for Monday morning sometimes. When you're working your purpose, you're in a zone. You know, Carol and I were talking the other day, but I grew up in the south side of Chicago in a street around called Ruble Street, R-U-B-L-E. And it was 1 block long, and Dan Ryan Expressway eventually came and took it to build the Dan Ryan on it. And I was 13. And every day I came home from school, I'd hit the streets. And we did everything on those streets. We played games, we played hide and go seek, we played ball, football, baseball. We went to nearby park to play basketball. And I don't know how often, it seemed a lot, I'd get into a zone where you didn't want anything to end. Yeah. I mean, you had no time comprehend. You didn't, and you hear the terrible call, come home, from your parents. You hated it because you didn't want it to end. Kind of like your honeymoon. You're not going to want it to end. Because why? That's what happens when you're working your purpose.
That's good.
You get in this zone, and I call it, and I did this, the caring chemistry. When the chemistry, like you're playing ball and everything's going and everything you're shooting is going in, and every movement, and you're outside of yourself because it's coming from down in here. You're not having to think. See, that's what being somebody is. When you're in that zone, and you start attracting other people that want to be in that zone too. Art Williams built a company on one principle. Everybody wants to be somebody. His words, every piece of flesh wants to be somebody. So when you go out there and tonight you start talking to people about this 100% off one and 1% off 100, talking about that fourth problem. Find out if they were like me. A person that wanted more out of his life. There's a quote, and it says this: most men live lives of quiet desperation. They're not living in their purpose. And they keep thinking there's got to be more to life. There's got to be something better. Yet every time they go to work, it steals something from their soul. You know, I'm the guy that, you ever watch Braveheart?
Oh, yeah.
And these movies where, even A Man on Fire, which is one of my all-time favorites,
Another good one.
and maybe Saving Private Ryan and Gladiator, you know, these cornerstone movies where happens to be a man, in this particular instance, served others and gave his life so their lives are better.
Yeah.
And he watched those movies, and you just want to map to something. You want to be like them. Remember in that movie Braveheart, where the old man, disfigured man with leprosy, son, he was the king of Scotland, and his son was going to take over. And his son came up and said, there's a rebellion going on. Really? His commoner called William Wallace. And his father started saying, well, here's what we do with rebellious people. He said, but father, men follow him. And father, I want to believe like he believes.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Do we ever follow somebody who believes like we want to believe? Yeah, that's where Williams was to me.
Yep.
You know what his father did? Laughed at him.
He did.
You see, people are going to laugh at you when you want to be somebody.
Mm.
Because you can't explain it.
Wow.
You can't excuse it. Why are you doing that stupid thing? Why don't you want to get a good job? Well, you know, I would never be in the insurance business. I would just never do that. See, they don't see it. They never paid a death claim.
Yep.
Right.
When you pay a death claim,
Yep.
like I paid,
Yeah.
you're sitting in that room, and that person there is lost. Mind is going 100 miles an hour. The love of their life is gone forever, and it's starting to dawn on them. And say, can I talk to you about something very important right now? You look over it, yeah. You got a $500,000 check coming in about 2 weeks. And you see everything in their body change. Everything.
Oh my goodness.
It's a bomb that the morning begins at that moment.
Sure.
And if there's no check coming, the morning never ends.
Right.
I'm talking MOURNING.
Right.
See, that's when you're doing something special with your life. James
Right.
Watkins just made $30,000 this month. He's did 50. He's got like 60 life apps in, and like he's going crazy. 60 recruits. And I get these texts night and day, morning, noon, and night. You know why? Because when you find somebody, guess what? They're going to pay you a lot of money. I make about $30,000. Now, about half that. I make about $12,000 to $15,000 a month off James. Virginia was making $500,000 off of me. $500,000.
It's amazing.
Because when you find somebody that wants to be somebody,
That's right.
we're going to pay you like crazy. And you know what? They're in your cell phone. There's 4 or 5 people in your cell phone right now. They're saying there's got to be more life than this. I just can't stand this. I was meant to do more. Is that all there is? Did you ever hear the song from Peggy Lee? Is that all there is? It's an old song from the 50s and the 60s. If that all there is, just get drunk and live the good life. You know, this is all there is. Everybody is seeking doing something special with their life. Everybody. And by America's a company, we're going to do something special with your life.
Yeah.
What do you got to get all this today, Darryl?
Let me see. I can tell you exactly what I got out of it. We are here to solve problems for those for those who understand that they have a problem and want to solve it. And in the process of us doing that,
Before we can solve their problem, we've got to make them aware there's a problem.
yep.
Go ahead.
And then, and once we do that, the company takes care of us in a very handsome way. We live the life of our dreams by helping them live the life of their dreams.
Imagine if you found 5 people who want to be somebody in the next year. They won't quit on you. They'll pass the exam. They'll get 100 people each because they want to be somebody.
Yeah.
If you don't have anybody like that yet, it means you haven't found anyone who wants to be somebody. Dan, what are you getting on all this?
He always asks this question. I got like 10 pages of notes. That's what I got. You know, you said the 4 problems. We were doing it for. I started doing this in a couple of those sessions we've been doing here the last couple of weeks. So now there's 5. Because the biggest thing I got was pulling on that tug, that heartstring about wanting to be somebody. I mean, you know, we were adding on live too long, die too soon, can't work anymore, what if you just want more?
Mhm.
You know, you want more out of life, you can't do it on your job. And then, but what you brought home is just look them in the eye and pull that heartstring, you know? You wanna be somebody.
See, most people have given up already.
Yeah.
And when you